to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Greetings in the name of the Most High Jah Rastafari. My good name is Marley Moses, the positive warrior, alongside...
Yes, sir, DJ D-Rage, the baddest. Each and every Wednesday from 10 p.m. on KBC Channel 1 TV.
Tunakuletea the biggest reggae party in 254 in a yard extra. Extra niceness of reggae music.
Extra dose of entertainment.
When the thing is nice, we
have to do it twice.
-9 hours to the opening of the polls. The Thursday by-election seeks to fill 22 vacant positions, 1 senatorial, 6 National Assembly, and 15 electoral wards. And tonight, that is where the news is.
And tonight, as you rightly say, the opposition is firing from all cylinders, accusing the IEBC of being part of a plot to rig the by-elections. We have details lined up for you, but also we'll not just be doing by-elections. Of course, we have our reporters situated in Malava as well as Banisa. We also have reporters in Ugunja as well as Magarini in Kilifi County. But also today we'll switch gears a bit also a little bit later and talk about medication, quality healthcare, and that is obviously something that the country is yearning towards as we talk about universal healthcare. And we'll be talking to Dr. Stephen Kigera, who is the head of quality services at MEDS. But first things first, tonight's highlights. It's all systems go. With voters in 22 electoral areas expected to vote on Thursday as IEBC assures of free and fair exercise. Allegations of ballot stuffing. United Opposition claims a scheme to interfere with the by-elections as Natembeya and Khalwale allege withdrawal of their security. And resumption of US government's funding. The government says plans are underway to restore the critical donor funding for HIV, TB and malaria programs.
Welcome to this live broadcast. I'm Doreen Arange.
And my name is John Jacob Kioria. Welcome very much to this broadcast. We start off with the news around the by-election. A section of opposition leaders has raised concern over what they claimed is intimidation from the government ahead of Thursday's mini-polls.
Led by Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya and Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale, the leaders have accused the state of allegedly withdrawing their security just a day before the by-elections.
But in a quick rejoinder, while speaking in Malava town, Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen dismissed the claims, terming them as mere propaganda.
Timothy Kipnusu with that report.
Wednesday morning at Malava Boys High School, the tallying center for Malava constituency by-election slated for Thursday, The IEBC officials are receiving and confirming the electoral materials before being dispatched to 198 polling stations across the constituency. Here, Malava constituency returning officer Salim Abdallah assured the nation that all has been set for tomorrow's exercise. But for Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya and Kakamega Senator Boni Khalwale, all is not well. The two claim their security details have been withdrawn. Speaking in Kakamega town, the duo pointed an accusing finger at the government.
Are you aware that the security of Dr. Boni Khalwale has been withdrawn? Your police officers, you have given me 6 police officers as per my office. Where are they? What are you planning to do?
Sisi kama wananchi tutalinda Gavana Natembeya mahali popote atatembea. Sisi kama jamii ya Waluya tutalinda viongozi wetu mahali pote watakuwa. Na kule Malava hakuna mtu yote ataleta fujo.
In a rejoinder while speaking the Malava Town Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen dismissed the claims, terming them unfortunate.
Haven't withdrawn any security for any voter in Malava constituency. So there is no fear that as a result of the same, that person is not going to exercise their right.
This as UDA candidate Devin Dakwa urged the security apparatus to be vigilant and tame any violence during the polls.
To the people of Malava, mtoke bila kushurudishwa, bila kuwa na wasiwasi. Serikali sasa imekuja, imeshika mikakati vizuri, na hakuna mtu mwingine atapigwa na wale wanataka uongozi kimapavu.
Meanwhile, Kenya Moja candidate Wilberforce Tuwei has refuted claims that he has stepped out of the race.
I want to tell the people of Malava that I'm still in this race. I'm still in this race to the end. My name is on that ballot paper. I'm among the few people who have decided to represent the people of Malava.
Even as the residents of Malava constituency planned to cast their votes tomorrow to elect their new member of parliament, a section of aspirants are crying foul, accusing the Independent Electoral Boundaries Commission for allowing a section of candidates to continue with their campaign even after the period lapsed. Timothy Kipnosu reporting for Prime Edition from Malava constituency, Kakamega County.
As Timothy Kipnosu from Malava constituency. I think it's time we join him. Let's get the latest from Kisu, that is Malava in Kakamega County.
That's right.
Timothy Kipnosu, good evening to you. Bring us the latest in terms of what is happening on the ground, Pale Malava.
Good evening to you, my colleague John Jacob Kioria there at the broadcasting house. Yes, I've been pitching camp here in Malava constituency, one of the constituency that Kenyans are keenly following to see how the race will pan out. Perhaps the race, of course, is between the government and the opposition, and we are pitching camp here in Malava Boys High School. This will serve as the constituency tallying center, and of course this particular place is where the electoral materials have been dispatched to different places, of course in 198 polling stations in Malava constituency. Malava constituency has 7 wards, and in that 7 wards, this serves as the largest ward in this particular constituency, having 16,688 votes, and of course we also have other wards. That is Chekulo Butali ward. We have South Kabras, of course, where we are, East Kabras. We also have West Kabras, where the UDA candidate comes from, and also Manda Shivanga, where the DAP Kenya candidate comes from. And of course, the other wards, we also have Chemuche ward. And we have been able to gather a few information, of course, in regards to what has happened here, particularly on that story that has run in our bulletin. And a number of leaders, the opposition leaders, are crying foul. George Natembeya, the governor of Trans Nzoia County, and other leaders they're really faulting the government for alleged withdrawal of security. And rejoinder, the Interior Cabinet Secretary refuted the claims that any leader has been withdrawn the security. And joining me now is the constituency returning officer for this particular constituency, just to give us up to speed on what is happening here in constituency. In terms of preparedness, in 198 polling stations, materials have been dispatched, and how in the mean?
Thank you so much. So far, so good. All the materials have been dispatched. All my officers already have left this station. And by tomorrow, 6 o'clock, all stations will be opened. And I wish to urge all Malava people to come out in big numbers and vote for their best candidate. We have done our level best. We are very grateful it didn't rain. So our work has been very easy and very smooth. We've got enough security officers, we've got enough manpower, and everything is moving on very smoothly.
There were allegations that a number of aspirants were continuing with their campaign despite the period ending. Have you received such intent?
Unfortunately, I've not been informed of any of such occurrences, and I believe campaigns ended on Monday, 6 o'clock in the evening. So in case somebody is going on doing that, it is legal and they know it very well. Unfortunately, nobody has reported it to me so far.
Any attempts of bribery cases you witnessed so far? Because a number of leaders that we managed to interview are really crying foul that there are some people going around to issue bribes to voters.
You see, the problem is they are crying outside there, but nobody is reporting to me. What I know, all candidates signed a code of conduct, okay, which is still in effect. But so far, nobody is coming forward with such allegations. I'm just hearing it from other people, like rumors, but there's nothing tangible so far. Yeah.
Thank you so much. There you have it. That is Salim Abdallah, the constituency returning officer for this particular constituency, just giving us an update of the level of preparedness ahead of tomorrow's mini polls. And just before I wrap up, my colleague John Jacob Kioria, a number of aspirants, the Kenya Moja candidate, that is Wilberforce Tuvei, had come out strongly to refute claims that he has stepped out of the race, and of course also faulting a number of leaders who are really pushing that agenda. So we'll be here to keep tabs on what will be happening very early in the morning. We'll be in different polling stations just to update our viewers on what is happening. To you, John Jacob Kioria and Doreen Arange.
Thank you very much, Timothy Kipnusu, for that report there. And in Malava constituency, you're looking at who will be replacing Malulu Injendi,
Absolutely.
who died. Okay. Well, let's continue to inform you. And Anwangeshi is our sign language interpreter. And now the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, is warning candidates in the by-election slated for tomorrow that engaging in electoral malpractices, they risk disqualification even after being declared winners.
Commission's chairperson Erastus Ethicon now claims that the law grants the electoral body authority to nullify the victory of any candidate found guilty of violating electoral rules.
The seven, as the state assured residents across the areas where the by-elections will be held of security during and after the exercise.
The chairperson, who had toured the Commission's headquarters in Kasipul constituency, Homa Bay County, called on all candidates and their agents to adhere to electoral regulations during the entire exercise.
We have zero tolerance on any election malpractice, including violence, because our constitution decrees that elections must be free from harassment, violence, intimidation, and of course malpractices such as bribery. The Commission still has the mechanisms to take action against any reported electoral malpractice.
Ethicon says the Commission will be swift in disqualifying any candidate who engages in malpractices, whether before or after they are declared winners, citing legal backing by the Elections Act.
For us as IBC, we are not letting our eyes off the ball. We are focusing on getting the job done, and we want to assure Kenyans that whatever amount of pressure, we will withstand it in order to make the process succeed.
While emphasizing the preparedness of the Commission to handle disputes emanating from the process, the chairperson implored candidates and their agents to lodge complaints through formal IEBC channels rather than engaging in public showdowns.
The Elections Code of Conduct Enforcement Committee is in place and it will remain active until we complete the elections and until the candidates who win successfully are sworn in. So that committee will remain active, and the mechanism within which you can approach that committee is when you have a complaint, don't complain on social media.
Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen, who was also on a fact-finding mission in Kasipul, Malava and other areas where the by-elections will be held, expressed satisfaction with the preparedness of the security apparatus to man the exercise.
We do not want to scare any voter here by presence of police officers. Our duty is to just scare goons and criminals. So the presence of the police here is not to police the voters they vote. No, in fact, we are not telling them to go and sit inside the polling room and the booth. The number of officers who will be there will be manageable.
He warned politicians who may seek to disrupt the exercise through chaos.
We must be watchful, and we will arrest all those people and take them to court. I advise any leader who was planning to bring goons to not to try that direction, because the consequences will be severe.
That's the warning of the Independent Election Boundaries Commission regarding any candidate who may engage in malpractice. Now, he was speaking in Kasipul, and from Kasipul, we're joined by Wycliffe Okech, live from Kasipul constituency. Of course, it's a constituency that was affected due to the death of the immediate former member of parliament who was killed in what you would call a nasty incident that is still under the police radar. Wycliffe Okech joins us from Kasipul. Wycliffe, good evening.
Good evening to you, Jacob, back in Nairobi. Like you mentioned it's now over 6 months. The residents, or rather the electorate here in Kasipul constituency in Homa Bay County, they haven't had a representative in the National Assembly. Just like you mentioned, the immediate former member of parliament, Charles Ongondowere, was shot and killed in Nairobi. And the security of the electorate having been assured by the Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen, who actually gave that assurance here in Kasipul. Now the electorate here will have a date at the ballot. They will stream here. Right where I am, this is one of the polling stations, actually one of the 142 polling stations that will be used for that exercise. That is kicking off from 6 in the morning, and all that exercise is expected to run through to 5 in the evening. What you're seeing in the background, these are the election the officials that are charged with delivering a fair exercise tomorrow. There are clerks here. There's a retired, the presiding officer and the deputy presiding officer. Like what you can see in the background, this is just one of the electoral materials that will be used tomorrow. That is the ballot box, where after a voter casts their paper, they will be able to be dipped into that box and then sealed and then taken to the tallying center, which is a Gorosare, just a few meters, or rather less than a kilometer from where we are. Like I mentioned, we are at Gorosare Primary School. That is one of the 142 polling stations to be used for this exercise. And remember, at least actually the registered voters for Kasipul are 67,513, and there are 10 candidates battling that for this position. Actually, they will be seeking the support of those 67,000 registered voters. Like I mentioned, there are 4 candidates are running on an independent ticket. 6 others have been sponsored by various political parties. And remember, the son of the immediate former member of parliament is also seeking to take that mantle from his father and represent the residents of Kasipul in the National Assembly. The assurance of security has been given, and also the chairperson of the IEBC, Erastus Ethekon, was also here in Kasipul and assured the electorate that the exercise will be fair and that whoever emerges the victor, or rather the winner at the end of the day, they will have done so fair on a fair ground. And it was also quick to mention that whichever candidate will be faulted for any or rather for involvement in any sort of election misconduct, they will not shy from striking the force that they have as the IEBC. What is happening at the ground, like I mentioned, this is Agorosari Primary School, one of the polling stations to be used. You can see actually what's happening now is the election materials have been brought here, and just the final touches, the setup of the room as to how the agents will be seated, the clerks and the other officials. Now that is the setup that is happening here, but as we can report now, it is all systems go. And of course, in this entire compound, we've seen security officers deployed and also taking charge just to ensure that tomorrow's exercise carries on smoothly as has been planned. We'll be here the very minute the station is opened, and we'll observe everything that happens here across Kasipul constituency, and we'll be able to update our viewers promptly as we get the details. For now, let me hand you back to studio for you, Jacob Kioria and Doreen Arange. Continue with the coverage.
Weekly catch from Agorosari.
In Kasipul.
In Kasipul of Homa Bay.
Again, one of those key constituencies that is being watched.
Absolutely.
Seeing that from the 10 candidates shaping up to 2-horse race, if I would say. But also from Kasipul, we now turn the crack to Banessa constituency, where our very own Adan is there. He's our eyes and ears on the ground. And earlier, one of the commissioner, Hassan Nur Hassan, was there just assessing the situation and preparedness ahead of tomorrow's polls. Adan, what more can you tell us?
Thank you very much, Doreen and JJ. For now, we are in Banassa constituency in Mandera County. As you know, tomorrow we have a by-election in Banassa constituency. This afternoon, we have witnessed IBC Commissioner Hassan Nur Hassan and other officials were dispatching material to the various police stations and 81 police station in Banassa constituency. And security has been also briefed. For now, IBC Commissioner Hassan Nur Hassan will join us to give us on more details how he has prepared for tomorrow. He has also appealed to the resident of Banassa constituency to turn up in a large number to vote. Please join us, Bana Hassan. Tell us how you have prepared for tomorrow.
Thank you very much, KBC. Here we are in Banissa. My name is Commissioner Hassan Nur, and we have done all the preparations. We have dispatched materials and election officials with security teams and agents of political parties to the various polling stations. And as we stand here right now, all the 81 polling stations have received their materials and officers. They have already reached their destinations. All of them prepared for tomorrow early in the morning to open the stations as it were. And I want to say that we are very grateful to the residents of Banissa because we have seen very peaceful campaign period. We are grateful to the citizens of this constituency, and we have urged them to come in numbers to exercise their democratic rights of electing their member of parliament. I know we have challenges in terms of the biting drought that has affected the region so badly. A number of the pastoralist communities have moved looking for pasture and water during this season. But we are optimistic that a large number of voters are going to turn up to vote for their candidates.
And we know majority of the residents are illiterate. I don't know how we are prepared for that, not sure that everybody will get their vote. And what appeal are you making to the candidate and the resident in terms of credibility?
Well, IBC is determined to provide an environment of free, fair, and credible elections. And toward this end, we have allowed everybody to participate in the election who are voters who voted in 2022. Voters who are unable to read and write will be assisted by anybody they appoint who come along with them to assist. In the absence of anybody they have appointed to assist them, we have presiding officers who have been fully trained to make sure the privacy of the voter and also the credibility of the election is fully taken care of. And therefore, they will be assisted by presiding officers with everybody in sight, the agents and everybody seeing what's going on. But the privacy of the voter will also be protected.
I've also witnessed that you have with the security team. Tell us also more on security, because there are some about the security.
I must say that security is fairly good in the region, and we have not had any issues so far. And because our election is conducted in a very peaceful environment, we have no issues along the routes that the election materials are moving. And election and the security officers have fully been briefed, and they know their roles, and I'm sure they will provide the support that is required. Our appeal, of course, to the candidates is that we have very few hours left now, and we want everybody to be able to keep peace during this period. We want to avoid people crowding around polling stations. Once you have been able to vote, please clear the polling stations. Go and attend to your other businesses so that the polling station is not crowded. Normally, where there are crowds is where bad incidents happen. We want to avoid that as much as possible. We're also appealing to candidates to observe peace and security. We're also telling them, please don't come to the don't come to the tallying centers armed. We don't want any arms within the tallying center. We want to reduce the crowd and the number of people who enter the tallying hall as much as possible. And towards this end, we are going to talk to the candidates to make sure they are not accompanied by very many, security personnel or people who are their supporters. We want to minimize the many supporters that normally roam around the tallying center or enter the tallying center, so that we can have a very peaceful tallying process and announce the results within the shortest time possible. It is our hope that we will announce this result within the shortest time possible, because it's just one election, unlike the other times when we have 6 elections.
Thank you very much. That is the IBC Commissioner, Hassanur Hassan, and everything now is set for tomorrow, Banassa by-election in Mandera County. Thank you very much, Doreen. Back to the studio.
Aden Ibrahim from Banissa constituency of Mandera County. Of course, speaking there to the commissioner, one of the commissioners of the IEBC, Hassanur Hassan. We want to take a short breather. When you come back, we have more news lined up for you, including links from these other places that are remaining. You remember we have 7 by-elections that are really the focus of the country, much more, and then about another 15 in wards. 6 of those are in the National Assembly or members of Parliament, and then again 1 in Baringo, and that is the Baringo senatorial seat. Don't go too far. We're coming back shortly.
When the hills gave way in Marquette, thousands were left with nothing. Together, we can help them rise again. Join KBC in the Restore Hope, Restore Earth campaign, Unity in Adversity. Together for Marquette. Donate through paybill number 522533, account number 8036543, or drop foodstuffs and supplies at Marquette County offices. Every shilling, every tree, every act of kindness counts. KBC, bringing Kenyans together.
No calls, no texts.
I've been busy with work.
When you were in Sana before, you were also busy. But we still met.
It looks like Miss Chuza is back again.
She's back?
It smells worse now.
What is it?
Cow dung!
It's a treasure, I promise you.
May knows her stuff. It's a treasure indeed. Many Chinese farms use it. It might stink, but it works wonders.
Let me tell you what happened.
Maja, for the last time. Are you going or not?
Not going. You can ask me 100 times and I'm still not going.
Welcome back. We continue to inform you. And now the over 281,000 registered voters will be next. They'll be determined who will be the next Baringo senator as they seek to replace William Cheptumo in just less than 48 hours.
The Independent Election Boundaries Commission (IEBC) has completed preparations with ballot materials dispatched and security deployments to all the 1,021 polling stations and tallying centers, as Ben Chumba now reports from Baringo County. Ready?
There he is.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Here we have
Kasichana
Masha, all the way from Magarini constituency in Kilifi County. Kasichana, good evening.
Yes, a very good evening to you back in the broadcasting house. My colleague John Jacob Kioria and Doreen Arange, all the way from Nairobi. I'm reporting live from Marafa ward. This is a ward among the 6 wards in Magarini constituency in Kilifi County. Magarini constituency, as we all know, that is among the 6 parliamentary areas that was scheduled to hold the by-elections tomorrow. The seat has remained vacant for the last 2 years following the nullification of the parliamentary elections in the year 2022. But now tomorrow, residents of this area are set now to elect or bring on board their National Assembly representative. And with me here, I am with the DCC for Marafa area, and he will introduce himself and tell me maybe how the preparations have been ongoing in this area. What should the residents of this area expect tomorrow? Because matter security have been the issues around here. Residents have been overboard, just wanting to be assured on the matters of security in this area. But now the area DCC will help to understand all that. Karibu sana bwana DCC, kindly introduce yourself and then you tell us how the preparations have been ongoing in this area and what should the residents of Magarini expect tomorrow now that the by-election are set for tomorrow. Karibu sana.
Asante sana. Kwa majina ni Michael Ololtua, Deputy County Commissioner Magarini Sub-County. Vile ulisema Marafa, lakini ni Magarini Sub-County. Kwa hivyo sisi kama idara ya security tumeweza kushirikiana na IBC kuhakikisha kwamba hii by election ama election ndogo ya Magarini itakuwa sawa na itakuwa na utulivu na itakuwa na amani. Kwa hivyo tumeweka deployment ya kutosha, sisi kama security pamoja na IBC tukishirikiana tume to all the 193 polling stations ambayo iko katika Magarini constituency. 193 polling station tumeweka security ya kutosha na tuko na mobile teams, formed up units, na tuko na wale backup just to respond to any emergency ambayo inaweza kutokea. Lakini hadi hapa mahali tulipo sasa, deployment ya presiding officers, kila polling station imewekwa presiding officer, deputy presiding officer, 2 clerks na security officers. Kwa hivyo hatuna wasiwasi. Tumesikia hayo maneno ya wild allegation kutoka different parties, lakini mimi nikiwa naakilisha department ama sub-county security kwamba hakuna mambo kama haya. Mambo mengi ni rumors. Sisi tutajua uchaguzi kesho itaanza, polling station itafunguliwa saa 12 na itafungwa saa 11 kesho, na tunatarajia by election ya Magarini ambayo itakuwa na utulivu, amani, free, fair and credible election. Hayo ndio matarajio.
Yes. Thank you so much, Bwana DCC. As you've heard, everything is set and everything is set, basically, if I can say that, and residents are are really anticipating now to bring on board all to elect their parliamentary representative, and we are all ready and we are camped here just to keep an eye on everything that will be taking place from tomorrow. As you've heard that the election exercise or the voting exercise is expected to commence from 6 a.m. all the way to 5 p.m. That's it from us from this side of Kilifi County. Back to you, Doreen Arange and John Jacob Kioria. Have a lovely night. See you tomorrow morning.
you, Kasichana Masha, for that report from Magarini constituency there. And now we head over to Ugunja, where our very own Achola Simon is there. He has been there since morning. Simon, what more do we know from Ugunja in regards to this preparedness for tomorrow?
At Mbira Boys High School, this will be the tallying center for Ugunja by-election. Of course, this by-election is stated by the fact that the former MP Opiyo Wandayi has assumed the role of the Cabinet Secretary for Energy, and of course necessitating this by-election. As we have already talked about it, 10 contestants have already thrown themselves into the field for this particular seat, and of course 60,000, slightly over 60,000 registered voters will be going out tomorrow for the purpose of ensuring that indeed they elect their next member of National Assembly. Of course, they'll be doing that across 116 polling stations across this constituency. As we speak right now, this place was a beehive of activities during the day. However, right now, most of the things that were actually here, those were strategic voting materials, have actually been dispatched to various polling stations across the constituency. And now what is happening is that the returning officer, Denis Omari, has just finished that job, and what he's actually doing next is actually to do spot check across all 116 polling stations across this constituency to ensure that indeed each and everything is in place and is in top gear ahead of tomorrow's by-election. Before we let him go, we'll just have a chat with him so that then he tells us what we expect tomorrow, if everything is in tandem with what they had actually planned for, and if indeed this by-election will be going on tomorrow morning as planned. Karibu sana, Bwana Returning Officer. Just put us into perspective. Today has been a beehive of activities, and of course this is the penultimate day in terms of ensuring that everything is in place. Are we ready for this by-election tomorrow?
Absolutely, we are ready. All our officers have arrived at their stations. We've gotten feedback. Each and everyone is already preparing his team ready for tomorrow. And as usual, we do spot check throughout the night to ensure that everything is in order. Just from another security meeting where we've agreed on how we shall run our activities, especially at the tallying center tomorrow with the candidates and the entire security team. So all systems are up and running, and we absolutely believe all will be well.
In terms of security, of course, this is just one of the many meetings that you've actually had in terms of ensuring that you put everything in place. So far, where are we in terms of ensuring that this by-election is actually going as per the law?
All polling stations will be manned by armed security officers, 2 of them, the 116, together with a number of contingent backup police officers who will be at every ward in Ugunja constituency. We'll have the anti-riot gear that will be moving around the wards. So any form of interference or any form of intimidation will be met with the strong arm of the law. And I want to believe that our people should, with the presence of these big numbers of security, will be assured that their security is guaranteed, and they'll come out in large numbers to cast their votes.
What time are we opening our polling stations?
We shall be up and running as early as 6 in the morning, unless anything interrupts that, but basically as from 6 in the morning.
Yeah, closing?
Closing is at 5 in the evening in all polling stations, unless there was anything during the day that warrants kind of extension to cover for the time lost in case there was any interruption.
Yes. There's a tendency of voters coming out and just milling around polling stations, and others actually not coming out and waiting to actually vote later in the day. Probably just your advice to them as we wait for this exercise tomorrow.
All electorates are advised to get to the polling station, cast their vote, and leave to their homes. All candidates have agents in every polling station, and they will take charge, and they will be the people with whom, or they are the people who will ensure that there is a lot of transparency, and they will work hand in hand with the presiding officer to ensure that everything will be done as per the law.
Just before we let you go, of course, we cannot predict what will happen tomorrow in terms of when we will be closing the stations and of course, at what time in particular we'll be announcing the results. However, you have a plan. What is the plan?
We expect that we will receive our first presiding officers by, let's say, around 8 in the evening, if all factors remain constant, and by 9, I want to believe that all our presiding officers will be within our tallying center. However, the process of tallying this may take slightly longer because of the scrutiny and all that requires in preparation to collate and have the results tabulated.
Thank you very much. Of course, that is the returning officer, Dennis Omari, just telling us exactly what they've actually put in place in terms of ensuring that this by-election is actually held within the parameters of the law and ensuring that indeed the exercise goes on as planned tomorrow. Tomorrow, 60,000 plus registered voters here in Ugunja constituency will be coming out, of course, to cast their vote in 116 polling stations across the country. The RO says that security is in top gear. He's had several security meetings, and of course the latest one just being a few minutes ago, and they'll be having more security meetings in terms of ensuring that indeed those that will actually be coming out to cast their vote will do so peacefully. And of course he urges that each and every person who has actually registered as a voter come out early, cast your vote and go home. And of course he's saying that they expect that indeed they'll be they'll be starting to receive the results from polling stations across the constituency at the right time. Of course, that has been the returning officer in Somari. My name is Achula Simon. Of course, I take you back to Broadcasting House.
Simon, for that report, and clearly it is all systems go ahead of tomorrow's by-elections. IEBC officials confirming materials are ready, security on deck, nothing being left to chance.
Absolutely. Ugunja is in Siaya County, and of course that position became vacant courtesy of the appointment of James Opio Wandai to the docket of energy in President Ruto's cabinet. Now, we take this forward, still related to the by-elections, and the IEBC returning officer in Nanam ward of Turkana County has blocked the distribution of maize by a section of politicians to the constituents ahead of Thursday's poll in the ward.
The returning officer, Noen Boyan, said the decision was aimed at preventing any action that could be misconstrued as vote buying.
And this comes as the residents were cautioned against being influenced by promises of handouts of food to influence their decision during the mini poll.
IEBC has committed to ensure heightened surveillance and a free and fair poll.
There were some allegations that one of the parties was distributing maize, but this afternoon we were able to go to some food distribution points, which we realized that there are points of distribution which has been there even long before. What we've agreed with them and with the security agencies is that those points will remain guarded and no distribution will go on until after the elections. So what I want to assure the public and the candidate is that everything will be done free and fairly, and we'll ensure that we guard and ensure that the rights of the people of Nanam are guarded. And the rightful candidate, as per the choice of the people of Nanam, will be the MC of this place.
The Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has reiterated its commitment to ensure free, fair and transparent by-elections in Mbeere North on Thursday.
Speaking during a security officials and observers briefing at the Siakago Girls School in Mbeere North, the Commission assured that the election materials will be distributed to all the 134 polling stations in the 3 wards of Mbeere North in time for the Thursday polls.
St. Bakita Siakago Girls School in Mbeere North, Embu County. This will be the tallying center for the 3 wards of Mbeere North constituency. On Wednesday afternoon, the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC, led by CEO Marjan Hussein Marjan, said the commission met with security officers and election observers who will conduct the by-elections. Marjan exuded confidence in a credible poll, urging residents to turn out in large numbers to exercise their right.
All those who are eligible to go and vote to come out in large numbers, to go and exercise their democratic rights. It is important that their voice is heard. Our team is actually prepared to ensure that there is safe environment. Security arrangement has been improved. We are actually happy with the arrangements that have been put in place, and as far as security is concerned.
The security team, led by the Embu County Police Commander Sarah Koki, pledged to ensure the rule of law is adhered to, cautioning those who intend to cause chaos. Embu Governor Cecily Mbarire urged residents to turn out in large numbers to vote and maintain peace during the polls.
Wale ambao wanaenda kwa uchaguzi, tuko na polling centers ziko 134 na kwa hizo zote tuko na askari wawili na pia tumeweka wengine ambao pia watakuwa wanatembea kwa hizo polling centers zote, kwamba wale wako huko mashinani wakiona ambao watu ni wageni ambao si watu ya Mbere ambao wanakuja kuvuruga amani, tuko na ofisa wa kutosha ambao watakuwa wanaenda washughulikia vilivyo.
I've had peaceful elections campaigns in Mbeere North. Hatujapata tashwishi yoyote, na tumeona watu wa Mbeere North ni watu wanaopenda amani. Pia tunataka kuchukua hili jukumu kuambia watu wa Mbeere North kesho watoke kwa wingi kuchagua kiongozi wao ambao wanataka awe MP wa Mbeere North. Sisi tunataka elections za kesho ziendelee kwa amani.
We want to assure everyone that government of Kenya has organized proper security measures to ensure the people of Mbeere North are going to exercise their democratic rights in a peaceful manner.
The by-election has attracted 9 candidates in a race to succeed Public Service Cabinet Secretary Geoffrey Rocco as Mbeere North MP. The race has seen stiff competition between UDA's candidate Leonard Wamodende and opposition candidate Benga musician turned politician Newton Karish. 55,124 voters are spread between 3 wards of Evurore, Ndawa and Mumenje. The 134 polling stations opened Thursday 6 a.m. and closed at 5 p.m. For Prime Edition, I'm Ben Troyenjue.
And we have him, Ben Troyenjue from Mbeere North constituency in Embu County. Ben Troy, what is the latest, very quickly, in terms of what is happening in Mbeere North?
Thank you so much, JJ, Kioria, and Arange back in studio. And it's all systems go here at Mbeere Tallying Center. We are exactly at St. Bakita Chicago Girls High School. And you might wonder why it's not a hive of activity. It's because this is the tallying center for the 3 wards, that is Evurore, Momenje, and Ndawa. Remember, 55,124 voters will be maybe picking up their next member of parliament. Why you don't see anything here? Because this is a tallying center, and what happened is all the ballot boxes have already been transported to the 134 polling stations in Mbeere North, and the farthest being about 100 kilometers from where I am standing. Well, you might wonder why we do not have maybe the returning officer speaking to us is because they are still in a meeting as we speak, and that is why we were not able to get an interview with them. But every election material has been taken to the 134 polling stations that will open at exactly 6 in the a.m. What was happening here this morning and in the afternoon was that the election observers and also the clerks and everybody were being, and even the security organs were being briefed on what is being expected. Remember, the CEO of IEBC, Marjan, is and still is here,
just to oversee that the process goes on smoothly. When we talk about security is because I will tell you that we have been on the ground, and the campaigns had been, the campaigns were concluded, but they were a bit feisty, and security has been beefed up. Remember, every polling station will have at least 2 police officers and 2 extra, just to ensure and to make sure that indeed the security is beefed up. What do we expect? We expect people to start streaming in from 6 a.m. in the morning. What do they expect? To have the ID and the voter's card and peace, because just as I mentioned, the campaigns have been a little bit heated, and so we do expect a lot of activity beginning tomorrow in the morning. Remember, Leo Amudende, who is being sponsored by the ruling party UDA, will be casting his ballot at about 10 a.m., and we will be here to ensure that we keep you afloat on that. The Newton Karish will be casting his ballot at about 7 in the a.m. together with Eleni Kivuti and also former AG Justin Muturi. Of course, we will be pitching camp here to ensure that we keep you afloat with each and everything that happens right here at the St. Bakita Chicago Girls here in Mbeere North Embu County. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Ben Troy Njue, for that, and we'll keep tabs on also those time codes, given that Mbeere North, again, is one of those key high-stake areas, perhaps just like Malava and Kasipul, and they'll be seeking, as they go to vote, to replace the former MP, that is Geoffrey Ruku, who was appointed as a cabinet secretary.
All right. Now, security agents in Narok County have assured residents of Narok Town word of safety and security during tomorrow's by-election.
Narok Central Deputy County Commissioner Kennedy Mwangombe convened a sub-county security committee meeting and warned anyone planning to disrupt the process would face stern action.
Similar assurances of smooth elections were made in Kajiado County by Police Security Commander Timothy Maina.
Speaking in Narok Town during a briefing by the Sub-County Security Committee, Narok Central Deputy County Commissioner Kennedy Mwangombe urged women and other vulnerable groups to come out in large numbers and vote during Thursday's by-elections, assuring them of their safety.
Lile jambo ambalo tunataka kuassure voters wote na wakazi wote wa Narok Town ni kwamba tumeweza kuimarisha hali ya usalama. Tumeweza kupata hata maofisa zaidi wa kuja kutusaidia na mambo ya security. Kwa hivyo tunataka kuassure voters wote waje kupiga kura kulingana na vituo vyao vya kura vile walivyojiandikisha.
Tuko na security wawili kwa kila kituo wenye watakuwa uko nje wakisindikisha presiding officer na deputy wake. Watatoka hapa mwendo wa saa 10, watakuwa wametoka hapa mwendo wa saa 10 ndio waelekee kwa vituo vyao, wakae huko, watayarishe hiyo kituo mpaka asubuhi saa 12 asubuhi wawe wanafungua kituo at exactly 6.
Similar assurances of safety and security were made in Kajiado County by Police County Commander Timothy Maina.
We are hoping that everything will go on smoothly. We do not have any threat, but we have marked the hotspot areas where we think maybe some disruption will arise. So we shall be going loud all the polling centers to make sure that the voters are not disrupted and that they vote smoothly.
The IBC team in Kajiado Central also assured the electorate of Purko Ward that all necessary voting materials had already been distributed across all the 12 polling stations in the ward.
We are just finalizing the final preparations for the deployment of the presiding officers. We have packaged everything. We have opened the ballot papers together with the candidates and the media. And now what is remaining is to have a brief meeting with the security agents and the presiding officers. We give them the final briefing. They'll have their lunch at around 1. Then from there we'll be ready to release them to the field.
Preparations for the Chewani Ward by-election in Galole constituency, Tana River County, have been finalized with a total of 14,333 registered voters expected to take part in the exercise.
Mtu yote ambaye anatazamia ama anafikiria kuwa atalete fujo ama vurugo, vyombo vya usalama vipo.
The Chewani Ward by-election will be conducted in 36 polling stations. Gishuku Washira, Prime Edition.
And the United Opposition has alleged that there is a scheme to interfere and rig Thursday's by-elections in favor of candidates allied to the government.
Speaking at the Steve Kalonzo Musyoka Command Center, Wiper Patriotic Front Party leader, DCPs Rigathi Gachagua and Eugene Omalo of DAP-K claimed marked ballot papers had been dispatched to Mbeere North, Malava and Magarini constituencies.
They further claimed goons and police officers in plain clothes had been deployed to cause havoc at the polling stations and tallying centres to aid ballot stuffing.
They are calling on the electoral body IEBC to assure the country of free, fair and credible elections.
We have credible information that the serialization of 820 printed ballots, that's very important, 820,000 printed ballots was not done correctly and not properly inspected. This has created a dangerous loophole for ballot stuffing through extra or unaccounted for ballots. We are further aware that 30,000 pre-marked ballots have already been dispatched to the targeted battleground areas of Magarini, Malava, and Mbeere North through compromised presiding officers.
And the plan in Mbeere North is that 1,500 gangsters from Kayole and Gekambura in Kikuyu are in Mbeere. And their mission is to create chaos outside the polling stations so that the police officers inside can create more chaos, pretending to be agents. And in that situation of chaos, the pre-marked ballots will be put into the ballot boxes.
Kulikuwa na njama ya kwamba viongozi waweze kushikwa. Mheshimiwa Senator Halwale is targeted for arrest. Tunajua kuanzia usiku huu niko natafutwa. Senator Cleo Malala, governor Natembea, na viongozi ambao wanaongoza kampeni zetu. Hii njama wanataka waweze kutisha wananchi wasijitokeze kupiga kura wakisikia viongozi wao wameshikwa na polisi wengi wamemwaga watu waogope kujitokeza.
Mubarikiwe, tuwatakie
I just can't stand here doing nothing, knowing that my very own father is fighting for his life in there. There's nothing you can do in there, Lucia. I am the worst daughter, the worst sister, the worst niece.
Lea Premium Flour, nurturing the world. Available in a store near you.
Let's switch gears from by-elections now and talk about access to quality healthcare. I'm joined by Dr. Stephen Kigera, who is the head of quality services at MEDS, and he will tell us what MEDS is. Karibu sana, Daktari.
Thank you very much.
First of all, tell us what MEDS is.
So MEDS is a faith-based organization. So MEDS stands for Mission for Essential Drugs and Supplies. Our core mandates are basically supply chain, quality assurance services, and health system strengthening. So MEDS is actually a product of an ecumenical partnership between the churches of Kenya, that is the Catholic Church, and also the Protestant churches. And it plays a very critical role in the healthcare space in Kenya.
Quite fantastic. Tell us, as being a faith-based organization, how does that influence some of the decisions you make and the operate? Because sometimes there are fears that there's too much bureaucracy and bottlenecks around faith-based organizations that inhibits their efficiency.
I would tend to differ, John, and thank you for that question. So faith is actually the center of, or rather it's the foundation of, it forms a very foundation of our existence and our services. So it's not just a question of how we serve, but also how we do it, or rather, basically how we do it. And we look at our core values. We have innovation, we have customer focus, we have integrity, teamwork and equity. And what we've done is basically to entrench or ingrain these ecumenical partnerships in our staff, so that when they serve, the services that we offer, the beneficiaries, who are Kenya and its people, are able to benefit from transparent and compassionate service. So bureaucracy is not a part of it.
All right. What you do is similar to what KEMSA does on the part of government. But I want to understand, how do you work with government and private health providers in this supply chain management?
Okay, so our pillars are basically partnerships and diversification. So we first of all partner with government. We've partnered with the Ministry of Health. Okay. We have partnered with the county governments, and we've partnered with the government facilities. We've also partnered with our regulator, Pharmacy and Poisons Board. And going back to our core mandate, our core services, that is supply chain, quality assurance services, you'll find that government has procured the services, and our role has then become complementary. So we're helping government to be able to offer services or play its primary role in ensuring that every Kenyan benefits from quality healthcare. So with KEMSA and the other government health facilities, we have combined forces, and we've been able to accentuate both our missions and our visions to be able to make sure that the Kenyan citizen or the Mwananchi benefits from quality.
So you're able to work in collaboration with KEMSA?
Yes, very true.
Okay. Tell us, because supply chain sometimes is inhibited by what you would call sustainability. How do you ensure that there's reliable supply of drugs, particularly to the facilities that you're working with?
All right. So drug shortages can actually be a risk, especially in healthcare delivery. So what we've done as MEDS is to establish a very robust supply chain. One that is founded on the principles of both lean and agile strategies. So what we've done is to make sure that we have a very diverse supplier base. So we work with a big group of suppliers, and we're able to stock up quite easily. We have a very robust drug revolving fund where we are able to procure medicines and expand our inventory, even responding to emergency cases. And we have been able to partner, especially with the health facilities, to make sure that we meet their needs and their requirements in a timely manner. So we have systems where we accurately focused, but also taking into consideration their needs and requirements, then we are able to be responsive to what they need from us.
I don't know whether you saw a conversation that was struck yesterday by Abraham Kioria. He's actually a member of parliament who just came out of the country for treatment, and he appeared to poke holes in terms of the kind of drugs that sick people in Kenya are taking in terms of quality. How do you work to ensure the quality and safety of drugs as met?
All right, so our tagline is basically driven by quality. We have a very robust quality management system backed by WHO standards and good distribution practices. We have one of the most advanced pharmaceutical quality control labs globally. So what we do is that we use our systems to pre-qualify our vendors, making sure that the sources of our medicines and our health products come from credible and reputable sources. But even over and above that, all products that pass through our supply chain, we make sure that we screen them and test them to make sure that what we are churning out to the health facilities meets the quality requirements. We also work closely with the Pharmacy and Poisons Board in areas of pharmacovigilance so that we get rid of what you call falsified and substandard products within our healthcare system.
And you're the one in charge of the laboratory?
Yes.
Okay. In terms of, when it comes to medical care in Kenya and drugs, for example, it's a very expensive affair. And I'm sure those are complaints you meet every single time in what you do. How do you ensure the affordability of drugs, particularly for the people that you're serving?
That's a very important question. So for meds, we use and leverage on our size to be able to employ what you call economies of scale. We are able to negotiate better prices from our suppliers because we are able to stock up large volumes of inventory. That way then, we pass that benefit to the health facilities and eventually to the patients. Like I said, we also employ what you call lean strategies. So we have automated our supply chain. We have made sure that we forecast accurately. That way then we reduce wastage within the pipeline, within the supply chain. And more importantly, we make sure that quality products reach our patients. That way then there's no wastage as a result of poor quality medicine or having to recall products. Yeah.
Let me take you back a bit. You talked about a revolving fund.
Drug fund, yes.
Yeah. Where does it come from? From the faith organizations?
No, this was, the concept of the revolving drug fund was initially developed through a meeting called the Bamako Initiative back in 1988. So what happens is that reliable supply chains are supposed to put aside funds, and those funds are dedicated for the procurement of medicine. That way then suppliers can be paid on a timely basis, and the supply of medicines is not interrupted. So Meds is currently celebrating its 40 years come next year, and we set up this drug revolving fund, and we've kept it healthy all these years, so that when we are to respond to emergency cases and we have to procure large volumes of inventory, we are able to do so by that through that particular fund. And the surplus that we make, a big portion of it is actually channeled back into that drug revolving fund to keep it going throughout the years.
All right.
Yeah.
Our topic today is towards health quality, and it's a wholesome package beyond the supply of drugs. In a way, do you train health workers?
Yes, we do. Okay. I can say confidently that we have trained many cohorts of healthcare workers. And we do that as a complementary service. It's part of our health system strengthening mandate. The reason why we actually train them is so that they're able to run their health facilities more efficiently, and that benefits is enjoyed by the patient, but also it is also enjoyed by Meds. We train on many topics. We train on topics like rational drug use. We train workers on the importance of procuring affordable medicine. We train them on quality-related topics. In our WHO pre-qualified lab, we have also trained lab scientists, specifically on how to train, or rather how to test medicines. So the cocktail of training programs that we have is quite big. And I think even as I look forward, one of our main strategies is to also set up a supply chain academy. I think I would be correct to say that Meds is actually a center of excellence in training.
Okay, interesting. One of the complaints, of course, you hear, particularly when it involves KEMSA, and of course KEMSA is not here to respond, is sometimes the amount of debt that counties have actually accrued in drugs that have been supplied by KEMSA to county governments or government facilities. Is this a problem you're dealing with in terms of very huge bills or people who've picked drugs from Meds, for example, but then are not able to pay up?
Yes, I would say it is a problem, and I think similar to KEMSA, Meds is not immune to the debt issue. However, the kind of strategies we've employed is to work and partner directly with counties, so that we come up with framework arrangements or we come up with instruments and tools to be able to supply them with drugs on a continuous basis, while at the same time the counties will be able to pay us, so that we again keep that inventory going. It's still a problem, but there are definitely ways of tackling it.
I know there are ways to tackle it. Tell us how you handle it. For example, you're dealing with a county government that is yet to pay up for about 6 months. Do you continue still supplying them with drugs, or what do you do?
All right, so it's looked at on a case-by-case basis. But what we know is that with the partnership that we have with, the strong partnership that we have with the county governments, that has enabled us to be able to support them continuously with medicine, but at the same time help them to work out their debt debt repayments. And like I said, we use various instruments and strategies to be able to allow them to pay up on a regular basis, and at the same time for us to be able to continue the supplies to them.
All right, we need to put a cap to this. Do you have plans to extend operations beyond Kenya? Because it's a faith-based organization, and particularly when it is linked to the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops, the Catholic Church is known for its, what you would say, reaching out to the poor and those probably in troubled areas. Are there plans to extend operations beyond Kenya?
John, I think maybe the question would be in what countries are we operating, because we already are in many countries. I would say that our global footprint is close to about 50 countries. So we've touched and impacted...
Still being called MEDS?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we've impacted populations in close to about 50 countries through our 3 core mandates on supply chain. We have very critical certifications. One of them is recognition by the European Union as a humanitarian procurement center. Okay. So non-governmental organizations who serve in those disaster-stricken areas would come procure from us. We export, and those products will end up, mitigating the crisis that is in those countries. I would mention a few countries like Haiti. I would mention countries like Syria and Yemen. In our WHO pre-qualified lab, we have been able to test from 42 countries. In this fight against falsified and substandard medicines, MEDS is a big ally, and we get samples from all over, and we test, and we are able to serve, especially regulators, to be able to take the necessary steps to get rid of these harmful products.
All right, let me give you your last word on that camera as you put a cap to the camera there.
Yes. So, MEDS celebrating 40 years, and we expect that in the next 40 years, there are big things to come. We are here to stay in the global space and in the global health space, and the beneficiary definitely will be the patient. And we are keen to make sure that every Kenyan has access to reliable, affordable, quality health products and technologies. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Stephen Kigera, the Head of Quality Services at MEDS Kenya. Time for us now to take yet another short breather. When we come back, Doreen Orange is up next with business. Thank you, Dr. for joining us.
Thank you, John, for having me.
Asante. Hold it there.
Wiki hii kwenye Mkulima
tunaangazia kilimo cha asili
na kisha faida zinazotokana na kilimo mjini.
Ukiangalia kama hii karatasi yangu nimeokota. Kwa hivyo nimefanya recycling. Kwa hivyo pale tu ni mchanga utatafuta. Borea sisi ndio tunajitengenezea si wenyewe.
Ungana nasi Jumamosi hii saa 10:30 hapa KBC Channel 1
kwa mseto kamili wa kilimo.
Time for your business news, and Head of Public Service and Chief of Staff Felix Koskei is proposing hefty penalties and possible deregistration for unethical practices among engineers. Koskei says there is need for increased regulations to reduce incidences of collapsed buildings and incompetent government projects.
A report by the Project Management Institute Kenya chapter published in 2025 estimated that Kenya is losing over 600 billion shillings to stalled or mismanaged public projects across sectors including infrastructure, energy, water and ICT.
We do have a challenge in, of course, regulation of the industry with a paltry 20% effectiveness, and we must work towards addressing this.
Koskei noted that poor workmanship is undermining public trust and leading to tragic loss of lives through collapsed buildings and substandard infrastructure.
When this administration came into power, that there has been a breakdown of discipline. Consequence management had already failed, where people can do anything and nothing will happen to them. You get an engineer, he supervises a project, the project fails, and nobody acts on that person. Whether failure by the employer, failure by the institution that oversights them. And therefore, we have, as government, come up with a serious relook at how we can quickly restore consequence management.
The Chief of Staff emphasized that all public projects must embed sustainability, accountability, and ethical practice from design to execution.
each and every person who, by commission or omission, for example, causes loss of funds, has to meet consequences. If you do a good job, you are commended. If you do a bad job, you are dealt with firmly. And therefore, we have come up with what we call proportionate and lawful consequences for infractions. We want each and every officer to take charge of their jurisdiction. We want to see each and every officer to run the affairs of their jurisdiction in a professional way.
Are key to eliminating loopholes that enable malpractice. He also urged the sector to embrace technology and innovation, saying digital tools, modern design platforms, and a transparent procurement system.
True engineering transcends physical structures. It includes the systems, institutions, and governance frameworks that ensure development is sustainable and impactful.
At the same time, Principal Secretary for Environment, Engineer Festus Ngeno, called for concerted efforts to increase the number of women in engineering, noting that gender inclusion is essential for national transformation.
While the enrollment of women in engineering courses has grown to around 30%, their representation in the workforce remains disappropriately low, and only about 8 to 10 of our professional engineers in Kenya are women, and we must push that to over 20%.
Day 2 of the 32nd IEK convention currently underway in Mombasa, and chief guest, that is Head of Public Service, Felix Koskei, urging engineers to practice professionalism as they undertake projects across the country, warning that those found culpable of malpractice will indeed face the full force of the law. I'm Regina Manyara reporting live from Mombasa for KBC Channel 1.
And Regina Manyara from Mombasa also spoke to the president of IEK, that is the Institution of Engineers of Kenya, Engineer Shama Kiteme. And here now is our interview.
So now I'm joined by none other than President Shama Kiteme to just give us an executive summary of the 4 days and also what we need to look at going forward in as far as matters engineering is concerned. Thank you very much, President, for your time.
Thank you.
Now, we had the head of public service here as a chief guest, and he had quite a lot to say, but one key issue that he pointed out is that the issue of professionalism, seemingly throwing the ball to you on your corner as engineers. What's your take in regard to that matter?
Thank you very much. I want to really thank the head of public service, Mr. Felix Koskei, for honoring our invitation to join us as a chief guest. And he really opened the conference. It is now systems to go. This 32nd IK International Convention, we are focusing on engineering the future, the roadmap for Kenya. Now, the chief guest rightfully challenged us about the issue of professionalism, and this is actually a continuing conversation. It is very important for us to remain professional even as we execute our work. We have seen a tendency to replace professionals with non-professionals. Mm-hmm. We have seen a tendency to want to do what is reserved for professionals when you're not a professional. We have also seen the place for quacks taking the place for professionals. And so the head of public service is spot on. And I agreed with him, even backstage, and I told him, you've done the right thing to point this thing out because society needs to engage professionals, and the professionals that are engaged needs to deliver professional services. That means we act with responsibility.
All right. So what do you think is driving this particular gaps in the engineering space?
We agree the fact that the government is very deliberate on heavy investment in infrastructure. And His Excellency the President, during the State of Union address, he pointed out on 4 key things, including investment in people and power upgrade, installed capacity for power, but also the issue of logistics, transportation and logistics. and also increasing our space to make sure that we are net exporter and not importer. So the heavy investment in infrastructure space puts the pressure to make sure that there is accountability, there is fiduciary responsibility by those entrusted to implement this infrastructure. And therefore, I strongly agree with the head of public service that we must demonstrate professionalism, we must demonstrate accountability, and we must bring value to the work that we do, because ultimately we are responsible to Kenyans for their taxes.
All right. Now, President, what is IEK doing to, enforce accountability?
Number one, we have a professional code of ethics that guides what our members should abide by. And this is disseminated, our members are aware. Part of the training is making sure that you understand the professional code and of ethics. And when we test to certify that you're a qualified engineer and a professional, we want to test that you actually understand this aspect. And therefore, we are continuously engaging our members in continuous professional development and making them aware, having case studies for when things have gone wrong, and demonstrating what we need to do to make sure that things go right. We are involving experienced professionals to talk to young engineers in mentorship sessions and all that. So we are very deliberate in investing to make sure that our members, these are all engineers, live up to the professional expectations that Kenyans put on them.
All right. So Kenya has over 18,000 graduate engineers, but fewer than 4,000 professional engineers. Why are many young engineers, stuck without work or pathways to licensing?
A very good question, Regina, because as this country now focuses on heavy investment in infrastructure, and we're very grateful to His Excellency the President that the rollout of the aggressive plan the budget is about 5 trillion now. We have seen instances where infrastructure implementation leaves out locals. And even today, we are pressing the head of public service and telling him, let us not have Kenyan engineers, spectators in infrastructure being rolled out in this country. What we're saying is that as engineers, to qualify and become a professional engineer, there's a critical element of getting hands-on experience, so that when now you get certification and become a professional engineer, you actually have experience to take professional responsibility. And we're saying, for this to happen, the engineers who are graduate engineers, and you say 18,000, they're actually more, about 23,000. They actually need to be involved in project hands-on, so that then they get the right experience. And then when now they face the professional examination, they're able to pass, because they must submit a project they have done and demonstrate they can make professional judgment because of getting experience post-graduation.
All right. There's been a conversation, and you have actually been quoted saying that you need to ring fence, graduate engineering, engineers' participation in PPP projects. How would this, policy shift help in addressing this issue?
Well, it will help in creating opportunities for young engineers. Now, let me say from the word go, the legal infrastructure framework, the instruments we have, they already allow this.
Yeah.
What we do have is the behavior to override the current laws that we have in this country, because they expressly provide for local content. They expressly provide for the need for technology and skills transfer. They expressly provide for the need for engineers to be involved as we develop our infrastructure. They are express provisions. And therefore, if we were to implement this, what we do, we will not only create the workforce available for the country now, but also in the future.
All right.
Which means then the PPP projects we are implementing, they will have technical experts who are able to maintain the infrastructure going forward.
All right. There are those who have said that these PPP projects need to be itemized. What is your take in that, as far as transparency and accountability is concerned?
Well, I believe itemization means being able to account shilling for shilling.
Yes.
So that then we know that Kenyans are getting value for the money, because ultimately Kenyans pay for this, whether it is through tolling, whether through direct funds, and so many other innovative models that we are coming up with. And you know, there must be traceability of the resources, plowed into these infrastructure projects. Whether it is a PP project, whether it's another model, there must be evidence that we get value for every shilling that we use in this project. And I agree with the concerns that are being raised, that we need to itemize and understand what is this that Kenyans are paying for this 1 kilometer of road. And more importantly, does it constitute value for money?
Good question. Now, for value for money, there are those who have also argued, President, that seeking the services of a professional engineer, local professional engineer, is too expensive. What is your take in regard to such sentiments?
Regina, that's a misguided notion, and I'll tell you because if you go to a hospital today, when you are sick, you care more about getting well than the cost you're spending to get well. If today you have a matter that you're taking to court, you want to look for the best advocate to make sure that your petition in court succeeds. In a similar manner, if we want good infrastructure, we need to be able and prepared to pay for good brains who are engineers to implement good infrastructure solutions. I will tell you, if you engage a qualified, experienced, and licensed professional, you will have a safe infrastructure. Compare that with the costs of developing infrastructure that then collapses, killing people and all that. It is incomparable. So let us disabuse the notion that engaging engineers is expensive. It is not. It is not. It adds value to your investment and to the infrastructure that you're developing.
All right. We have 2 more days to run for this particular convention. So as we bring this to a close, how can then engineers, ensure sustainability and climate resilience are integrated into every stage of the project design and execution?
Thank you very much. One of the key concerns that we are focusing on is resilience. We have been involved in development of standards to make sure that the infrastructure we design is resilient. It will stand against disruptions of the nature, like what we have seen, fires, we have seen floods, we have seen cyclical return, climate situations, which are affecting huge populations. Our work as engineers is to design infrastructure that will withstand the shocks of nature. And we have developed standards. We are increasingly retooling our members so that they are capable of being able to respond to this. What we're saying is that if we know that climate change is a reality, we should be able to design infrastructure where, in case of extreme weather, for example, the infrastructure will be able to continue to serve the purpose it was put up for. And in instances of these events, even the recovery is fast. We don't go down because of these extreme weather events or climatic conditions that are adverse and severe. I can tell you with a guarantee that our members are now retooled, retrained, experienced, and they understand pretty much how to respond to these issues so that we ensure that we embed sustainability and climate resilience in the infrastructure that we are developing.
What are you doing as IEK to also show up capacity where women or rather female engineers are concerned? The numbers are quite minimal, so to speak.
IEK is very much involved in mentorship. We are all over the country. Turkana, Siaya, Meru, Nyeri, Lamu. We are talking to young girls and encourage them to take a career in engineering. We are actually the biggest STEM advocates in this country. We are into high schools, talking to young girls and telling them that a career in engineering is rewarding.
All right.
We have created the Young Future Leaders Committee. We have created Women Engineers Committee. And all of them are actively and aggressively involved in mentoring and shoring up the numbers. And we are getting better.
All right.
By
now,
the day.
If you were to sum up, Kenya's engineering future in one sentence, what must change today, to unlock national prosperity and global competitiveness? What would that be?
Well, a big question, to be honest. But I must start by assuring our viewers that Kenyan engineers are the best we'll get anywhere. The issue is we need to involve them in the infrastructure we are developing. It can never be more brighter for engineers in this country, especially after the speech by His Excellency the President on the new priorities during the State of Union address. It can never be more brighter, and we are capable, we are ready, we are willing, we are stepping on the accelerator to be at par with the vision that the government has set out for this country.
Very well said. That's just but a sneak preview of what has been happening for the last 4 days here. This is a 32nd IEK convention themed around the future of Kenya when it comes to engineering. In fact, the theme is engineering the future. We have been speaking to none other than the IEK president, that is Engineer Shama Kiteme, putting into perspective what has been happening and looking forward, where everybody is included, government, academia, as well as industry. Now, I'm Regina Manyara. I hand you back to Broadcasting House.
Information, Communication and Technology Cabinet Secretary William Kabogo says the government has so far rolled out more than 25,000 public Wi-Fi hotspots across the country. Speaking during the commissioning of fiber backbone link and new public Wi-Fi hotspots in Baringo County, he said the internet infrastructure will open up the Kenya's rural counties for more investments and locals to easily access government services.
5,000 katika Kenya mzima, na yote inaangaliwa na vijana na wasichana wa Kenya, na wanapata ajira wapi?
Na ile president amesema for our country to move from third world to first world, our sector led by our CS will play a very key role kuhakikisha nafasi za digital economy ziweze kufunguliwa. Tumeweka digital hubs katika kaunti mzima ya Baringo. All our TVETs have at least 100 computers ili wanafunzi wetu waweze kuaccess digital space.
Time for us now to get sporty. And national under-17 men's soccer team Junior Stars have made a historic qualification for the 2026 under-17 Africa Cup of Nations in Morocco after finishing second in Group A of the ongoing Africa Cup of Nations under-17 CECAFA qualifiers in Ethiopia. Kenya's young side has impressed throughout the tournament, opening their campaign with a 1-1 draw against Somalia before securing a hard-fought 2-1 victory over Rwanda. On Monday, the momentum continued as the Junior Stars confidently brushed aside South Sudan with a 2-0 win. However, they lost 1-0 to host Ethiopia in a decisive clash. Junior Stars qualified for the semi-finals and also securing qualification for next year's CAF Under-17 AFCON. And the FKF Sport Pesa League match between rivals Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards has been postponed to a later date after the hosts Gor Mahia failed to secure a suitable venue for the match. According to FKF, the match was initially slated for Sunday at the Kasarani Stadium before being rescheduled to Saturday at the Nyayo National Stadium. Nairobi United had already booked Kasarani Stadium for their CAF Confederation Cup group stage match against AS Maniema on Sunday. The visiting team from the Democratic Republic of Congo must train at the venue a day before the game, making Kasarani unavailable on both Saturday and Sunday. And the Meru County sitting volleyball team conducted its selection today to identify players who will represent the county at the upcoming inter-county regional sitting volleyball games set to take place in Makueni County from December 3rd to 7th this year. Mawira Mugonga, the chairman of the Meru County Sitting Volleyball, stated that the selection brought together talented players from all sub-counties across Meru County, with the final team comprising of 9 players for the men's team and 9 for the women's team. The top-performing players from the regional games will have the opportunity to join the national team to represent Kenya at the World Championship in China in 2026.
Kesho tutakuwa na wao for training, watatrainwa vizuri, alafu watachukua bendera ya Meru County wakawakilishe Meru County katika michezo.
Sasa kama chairman tumepanga na committee, tumepeleka our budget wa county government. Leo tumeongea na governor na gavana amekubali atasaidia hii timu yetu kwenda Makueni.
Naomba wasapoti michezo ya walemavu katika kaunti zetu za Kenya zote 47.
I know the director is a Man U fan, so he didn't want us to mention that Chelsea moved up to the 8th position, to 8, of course, at number 5 in the Champions League table. Obviously, after losing to Everton, he doesn't want to hear those news. But then again,
so he's coming quickly so you can close and just go home.
Yeah, wait, let's just wind it up, though.
But tomorrow we'll be here.
Absolutely.
From 6 a.m. when the polling stations open, all the way to 5 p.m. to bring you just wall-to-wall coverage of how these by-elections will be taking place across those 22
election zones.
1 senatorial, 6 National Assembly, and 15 electoral wards.
In the ward, or rather in what you would say, member of a county assembly.
Yes.
Join the Good Morning Kenya team from 7 all the way until 9 p.m. And of course, I'll 9 a.m. and then I'll join later from 10
to 2:30.
2:30.
And I'll come in much later in the evening after the process is already complete. So we are here for you for all that. So this is the place to be for that from 6 to 5 p.m. Nonetheless, for now we close and go home.
Absolutely. My name is John Jacob Kioria. Anne Wangeshi was a sign language interpreter. Good night.
For charity, dial star 419 hash.
Nakuona. Kuja hivi sasa.
Buddha. Siku umedial star 419 hash. Chika. Yaani hujui kwa option 3 kuna Probox. Probox. Usisahau kwa star 419 hash option 3 iko Probox ya bahati. Na ikikuangukia ufunguo utakufikia mahali popote ulipo. Usisahau.
Wanja Rastafari.
find my way over. Wandering I've been lost as I traveled along the wide cliffs of Dover. Many rivers to cross, and it's only my will that keeps me alive. I've been licked, washed up for years, and I merely survived because of my pride. And the loneliness wouldn't leave me alone. Such a dread to be on your own. My woman left and she didn't say why. Well, I guess I had to cry. Many rivers I've crossed, but just where to begin? Been playing for time. There've been times I found myself thinking of committing some dreadful crime. Many rivers I've crossed, it was so hard to find my way over. Wandering I've been lost as I traveled along wide cliffs of Dover. But I think I got it now. Love, 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 I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Oh yes, I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue I can see clearly now the rain is gone.
It's DJ Direct, baby.